over 2.5 million HP, endlessly spawning enemies, a wall of mechanics that makes Muse IS3 seem brief by comparison. Is this what people mean by power creep? Let me show you how to beat his ass. First of all, how do you get to the 4th ending? Grab a lost and found node and pick the 3rd option. If you don't have this option, beat IS5 with any ending and then go back to the lost and found. You will be offered a useful item that reduces your XP gain by 50% and steals all of your money. What? I never said it's useful to you. Anyhow, that's the ending 4 key, so pick it up. The debuff from it is pretty annoying, so you might want to delay picking it up until you can spend a bunch of money and eat a few fights. This isn't an unreasonable approach, but you also need 2 Quons and a face-off node after the lost and found node in order to enter the 4th ending. So if you delay it too much, you might end up missing the 4th ending entirely. Personally, my advice would be to just take the first lost and found node. You dump all your money on the first floor, so you don't have a lot of money to lose, and the 50% XP reduction isn't as crippling as it sounds. Most of the time the lost and found node doesn't even spawn until the 3rd floor, so you will get to eat a bunch of fights before the XP debuff is even applied to you. If you find any runes that give you extra ingots, hold on to them until after you pick up the ending 4 item. I mentioned you also needed a face-off node. Choose the 2nd option, which requires 2 Quons. Once there, the rightmost option is 2 snazzy looking boats. Even if you reroll, they are still the right option. Pick them and kill them both. Their stat line is rather high, so you're better off fighting them after floor 3. If they path over an operator, they remove them from play until the boats are killed. So keep your operators away from them. After you've killed both boats, you get the key to ending 4. And it comes with a massive stat buff for whatever boss fight you are doing on floor 5. It also buffs elite and boss HP by quite a bit, but by floor 5 you should have stacked enough items for it not to bother you much outside the boss fight. For the floor 5 boss, enemies get about 40% extra HP, attack and defense. On top of that, those tanky golden boats from the face-off node shows up again. They don't actually take any lives, so it's fine to leak them. You can even abuse it with items that proc on leak, like the Grand Pharaoh, to gain the leak effect without losing any lives. If they kidnap your operators and leave the map, you aren't getting your operators back until the map ends. So if they steal someone you need, make sure to kill the boat before it leaves. Other than that, the boss fight plays about the same as usual. The stat check is slightly higher is all. Once you're on floor 6, make sure to rob the shop. The fight is easy enough for any squad that can get here, and the rewards are worth it. Whether you want to play the ending for normal fights is up to you. They're a bit annoying, so rerolling them away is perfectly reasonable. If you do want to fight them, for Heavenly Paradise you'll need a ton of hit counts and AoE, because the entire map uses those hit count based ghosts from Link's event. The right side has ranged enemies, the left side has melee enemies. As for Heresy, just spawn camp every red box and leave one operator to clean up the random slug wave that spawns at the bottom. Heresy is far easier than Paradise for the record. Finally, we can talk about Qui'lon's nonsense. The dude has a ton of mechanics, phases, forms and whatnot, but I'm not reading all this shit. The specifics don't matter that much and you can read them for yourself if you want to. Here is what you need to know. Qui'lon spawns at the top of the map, but doesn't move and is invulnerable for a minute and a half. He has no ranged attack, but will spawn these bow things on the marked undeployable tiles around the map. They have 0 health and need to be healed to full within a certain timer to be destroyed. Occasionally they do damage in the 4 tiles around them, as well as damaging themselves. If you don't heal them in time, the highest attack operator will get a minus 50% attack debuff. It's a temporary debuff and it doesn't stack with itself, so it's entirely possible to mostly ignore the healing mechanic. Out-healing it is pretty easy though, and the boss gains 20% physical and arts damage reduction per bow, so there's not much incentive not to do it on your end. Operators with portable or global healing are pretty good on this map, as an easy counter to this mechanic. So AA Outer, Silence, Perfumer, stuff like that. There's also some fast redeploys that can heal as well. So heal his bows and smash his nuts after. Simple so far. Once Qui'lon loses 25% of his HP, he will become invulnerable and stop moving in order to let his nuts rest. One of those golden boats we saw earlier will show up and go from the left side of the map to the right one. Whatever you do, don't kill it. This boat is here to help you. Let the boat kill 3 of your operators by running them over, preferably single target DPS ones, and then wait until it flies off the screen. Once the boat leaves, those operators will be removed from play. Whether you hold the boat or not, the boss will lose his invulnerability after the boat leaves. So why sacrifice the operators then? We are not sacrificing them, we are moving them. Qui'lon will go invulnerable and summon another boat at 50% HP and 25% HP. Once you finally kill his phase 1, the dude will go nuclear. He kills every enemy, every operator, and removes every operator from the deployment bar, except the operators that were loaded into the golden boats. Now you can use these operators to kill his phase 2 in the new arena. Unless you have so much DPS that you can nuke 2.5 million HP in 20 seconds, which honestly is not that unreasonable, on floor 6 in IS5, you should probably bring a medic so you can remove his new bows. So far, apart from the boat mechanic, he is just a stat stick walking to the blue box. What happens if you block him though? Yeah, see these damage numbers? Every bow on the field will also do that much damage if you block him. It's not completely out of the question if your operators are in safe places, but slowing him down with someone like Ethan, Mostimo or Suzuran is going to be far less work than trying to tank this dude. What about the rest of the enemies? There's only a few enemies on the map, but Quon summons endless waves of alternating casters and melee elites on both sides of the map. The spawn rate isn't overwhelming, but their stats are nasty, so you're better off killing them before they hit you. Range is pretty good in this fight. Finally, some positioning ideas. You don't want to accidentally kill the boats, and the best way to make sure that doesn't happen is to not point your DPS operators at them. All enemies go to the blue box at the bottom, while the boats move in the top part of the screen. So aim all your operators at the lower part of the screen and the boats will have no trouble going through. The white shoes are an extremely helpful item for this fight, because it will make it far easier to place all your ranged operators at the bottom. As for his phase 2, Qui'lon spawns apes and casters to annoy you. If you can't kill him before they spawn, you need either a medic or some operator that can nuke them quickly. And that's pretty much it. Lost and found, third option, 2 Quons in face of note, kill boats, bring healing, load DPS operators in boat, nuke the boss. It's not terribly difficult or even that complicated, but Qui'lon uses some unusual mechanics, so you need to remember your win conditions and play around them.